everyone. My name is Sarah Wells. I am an Olympic 400-meter hurdler. I'm honored to be here today. Now, I know I can't see you, but humor me for a second. Do this so that I feel like we're together, okay? I need everyone to clap your hands twice as fast as you can. Go! Okay? I caught some of you off guard. Some of you think I'm insane. That's fine. Let's try this again. Clap your hands twice as fast as you can. Go! I didn't get a good one. Let's do that one more time. As fast as you can. Go! Okay. That last one. That probably took you like half a second. What if the difference between epic success and total failure happened in that half a second? As a track athlete, that half a second can be the difference between winning an Olympic gold medal or walking away empty-handed, very quickly forgotten. Now, I know that some of you just learned that I am an Olympic athlete, and that's super cool, but I promise you I'm actually not good at sports. What I do have to make friends, though, is this silver medal. Now, half a second, as we just talked about, can be the difference between winning an Olympic gold medal and not. And so I literally do not have time to doubt myself. I literally don't have time to question what is or is not possible for me. Now, this silver medal, I won this at the Pan American Games. And I cannot tell you how often I wonder, could this have been gold? And the reason why I wonder, could this have been gold, was because at the Pan American Games, it is basically like an Olympic final. Because the Pan American Games is all the fast countries. It's like North America, South America, Central America. So it's basically the Olympic final. And I run the 400 hurdles. So that's one big lap around the track with 10 hurdles. And in the lane next to me at the finals for that race was the #1 ranked girl in the world. And track and field's pretty absolute. So I knew her personal best was better than my personal best. And so I expected that when we came into that final straightaway, she would be in front of me. Now, when the gun went off during this race, I came out so fast. I was attacking every single hurdle like it was the last one. Lactic acid is starting to fill up in my body. I am charging over these hurdles. And I remember this moment as we got into the final straightaway, I was leaping up over the second last hurdle, and it was as if time stopped. And I remember looking around and thinking to myself, hanging over top of that hurdle, where is she? She should be beating me by now. And as we got over that second last hurdle, we sprinted towards the last one. We charged towards the finish line. She charges forward. She gets gold. I get silver. And I cannot tell you how often I wonder, could this have been gold? Because what if I hadn't have questioned myself over that second last hurdle? What if I hadn't questioned my own ability and what I was capable of? Could that have been gold? And my question for you is, what if you actually believed you could? What if you actually believed you were destined for greatness? You were destined to change the world. The biggest obstacles on our pursuit to excellence will be the limiting beliefs we place on ourselves. We need to shift our focus from what's probable to what's possible. Now, like I said, I'm an Olympic athlete, and some of you think I'm good at sports because of that. And I am not. I really suck. In high school, I actually got cut from every single team. Basketball, volleyball, field hockey, badminton, you name it. I got cut. Now, I want to give you some context because I only have so much time with you today. So I need to fast forward through about a decade of Olympic pursuit in 2 minutes or less. Okay? Let's do this. So I suck at sports, but eventually I find track and field in the springtime of freshman year. I happen to have some success, so I set my sights on one day making the Olympic Games. The year before the London Olympics, I wake up one morning, step out of bed, I get this like searing pain at my leg. I have no idea what it is. I eventually find out it's a stress fracture in my femur. And your femur is the biggest bone in your body. A stress fracture is a deterioration of that bone from the inside out that leads to a crack. So, biggest bone in my body, breaking in half the year before the Olympics. And the best part is that I had never touched Olympic standard before. The minimum qualifying time you have to hit in order to go to the Olympics, I had never come close. I had only ever run 56 seconds for the 400-meter hurdles, and I needed to run 55 seconds in order to qualify. Now, we just talked about how half a second is a big deal. So having to approve a whole second was like an eternity. Now, when I go and see the doctor, he tells me that this stress fracture is going to take 3 months to heal. I didn't have time. I needed to be training to improve a whole second. But it didn't take just 3 months. Instead, it took 9 months to heal. So I'm on the sidelines for 9 months, watching teammates and friends get better and faster and stronger. And I'm watching my dream slip away. By the time I was cleared to run, I had 6 months left to qualify. And remember, I had to get back to who I was before the injury and still improve an entire second. And on my first day back to training, with 6 months to go for the Olympics, I did a few jogging laps around the track that first day, and I immediately left, and I went to the tattoo parlor. I went to the tattoo parlor to get the word believe tattooed onto my wrist. And all of my friends and family thought I was insane. They're like, Sarah, this is going to be the biggest reminder of you not making the Olympics. But fast forward 6 months later, I blow my own mind. I make the Olympic Games. And I don't just make it there. I actually finished as an Olympic semi-finalist and one of the youngest competitors in the field. I know. And I actually came home and I finished that Olympic tattoo and I put the Olympic rings underneath the believe exactly where I said I would. Now, I saw the power of believing in yourself work. And it's such an important message that I've been so fortunate to stand on stages and share with people. But it's actually not my favorite story to share. It's not my favorite story to share because what I want to lean into today is what actually happens 4 years later. After I make the Olympic Games and I become an Olympian, I'm now, looked at as high performance. Everyone's like, oh, she's an Olympian. She's really good. And so year over year, I get better and faster and stronger. And eventually, by the time the Rio Olympics comes around, I had just come off winning this silver medal. And so heading into the Rio Olympics, everyone was like, oh, well, you're going to go win a medal, right? And I had all this exciting momentum. I was all over billboards across the country. I was doing all these media appearances. I launched a clothing line with TJX and Marshalls. It was so exciting. But it was also a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. And so 2 months before the Rio Olympic trials, I had a workout on a Tuesday. Tuesday, I ran so fast. Probably the fastest I've ever gone in my entire life. I went to bed Tuesday night just being like, perfect. Everything's come into plan. I'm going to go to the Olympics, win my medal, retire from sport, get all the endorsement deals. Life's going to be great. And the Wednesday after that workout, I wake up and my hamstrings, the muscle in the back of my leg, they're super, super tight, which is totally normal. Makes perfect sense. I had just gone the fastest I had ever gone the day before. And when I wake up that morning, I think, well, my hamstrings are really tight. Maybe I shouldn't work out today. But then in my brain, I started going down this spiral and I thought, well, no, if I don't work out today, then I'm not doing everything I can. If I don't do everything I can, then I won't win a medal. If I don't win a medal, I'm going to let everyone down. And so I go to the track and I work out anyways. And about halfway through my intervals, jogging around, my coach, he notices, and he says, Sarah, you don't look like yourself today. You look a bit tired. Let's stop here. Let's shut it down. And in my crazy brain, I was like, no. I have to do this workout. What should I tell him? Hey, coach, I have an idea. Let's play a game. How about if I run the next interval slower, I'll stop. But if I run the next interval the same or better, you have to let me keep going. And my coach is like, okay, crazy lady, who asks for more running? And now this next interval, I'm charging down the track and I have to run the same or better in order to keep going. And if you can imagine what it would feel like as you are sprinting along a track and you have like a Ziploc bag full of air, tightly sealed, placed in the back of your leg. And as you're sprinting along, it feels like someone just stomps on it. That's what it felt like when I face planted to the floor, ripped an inch tear in my hamstring. And 4 years after I thought I had already overcome the biggest obstacle in my career, I learned another hard lesson. I laid on the track bawling my eyes out because I knew it was bad. I knew that I was only 6 weeks away from the Olympic trials. I didn't have time to make this comeback. How could I be in almost the exact same position again? I had the comeback story. I did the thing Didn't I earn the right to not have to be faced with this again? That night, I was so mad at myself. Why did I choose to work out today? I even woke up this morning and said, maybe I shouldn't. And that night, I realized that I had 3 lessons that I apparently had not yet learned. The first was that our highest level of success is not our new baseline. And I know that many of you here in this room, you guys are the high achievers. You are the people that have seen success. And in your brain, you might be like this too, where you assume nothing except for the same or better than your highest level of success will be seen as success. But that's wild. That's silly, because success is not this linear path like a video game where you hit a checkpoint and you never slide back down. Success is a roller coaster ride where there's good days and bad days and ups and downs. Even when I think about, for me, like I had just had an amazing workout the Tuesday night before. Why did I feel the need to get back out there on the track and have another amazing workout? Why couldn't I settle for the fact that it was an off day? It was a bad day. And every single one of you in here right now may fall to that as well, where sometimes we can get so caught up by thinking our highest level of success has to be our new baseline. And I hope that you learn that today. Your highest level of success is not your new baseline. The second thing that I needed to learn after tearing my hamstring was that sometimes rest is the most productive activity we can do. Because had I have not gone to the track that day, I probably wouldn't have torn my hamstring. I probably would have been able to prevent this injury, this catastrophic situation, had I've just chosen rest. But I know that many of you here, you have such a high capacity. That's why you're as successful as you are. That's why you're here even now, juggling probably 7 zillion things on the go all around you while you're present with me. But if we actually think about this, we're so scared of letting go. No, I'm the person who can always do more. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't rest. That's for people who don't achieve success. I'm not a person that rests. And we get so scared of letting go of something because we live in this loss culture rather than actually focusing our attention and thinking about, well, if we took something off of our plate, if we actually said no every once in a while, what would that actually give us an opportunity to do? What gain would we have from that? Sometimes rest is the most productive activity that we can possibly do. The third thing that I needed to learn that night was that sometimes the very thing that made you successful is the thing holding you back from your future success. Because for me, I genuinely believe the reason I became an Olympic athlete was because I was willing to put in the hard work. I was willing to show up at the track, put my heart and soul, even on the days I didn't want to. That made me an Olympic athlete. That's also the exact reason why I tore my hamstring that day. And so some of you may be sitting there in the audience thinking, yeah, well, Sarah, being hard on myself is what got me here. That's how I got this title. That's how I got this life. Or, Sarah, being the person that sprints around and stretches myself really thin helped me raise the capital I needed for my venture. And you're right. Maybe that is the reason. But it might be the exact same reason that leads you to burnout. It might be the exact same reason preventing you from your future success. And so my question for you is, what is one thing that you maybe need to let go of in order to move forward? What is one thing that you maybe need to let go of in order to move forward? So those 3 things, I learned that through tearing my hamstring. Horrendous time to learn that. And I do everything I can to make a comeback in those 6 weeks. I do shockwave therapy. I do acupuncture. I do cryo chambers. I do everything. And 6 weeks later, the Olympic trials comes around. And I'm about 90% healed. That's all I had time for. Now, at that time, I had been a 4-time national champion. I had pretty much always won the race. And I knew that to make the Olympics, they send top 3. As long as I got on the podium, well, I would go. And so I was like, okay, I have buffer. I have some wiggle room here. And on the day of that race, I was so superstitious. I tried to do everything the exact same way as I did 4 years earlier when it all worked out for me at the London Olympics. I looked down at this Believe tattoo on the Olympic trial start line, and I just said to myself over and over again, I believe in me. And when the gun went off, I came out so fast. I wanted this so badly. I remember getting about halfway through the race and thinking, I'm winning. Oh my God, I haven't even been training for 6 weeks. Haha, suckers. And as we get into the final corner for the very first time, the first girl comes into my vision. And I thought, that's okay. I just need to hold on to here, staying third place. I just need to stay within third. And as we get to the second last hurdle, the second girl comes into my vision. And all I needed to do was hold on to third, and I would go. As we're approaching the final hurdle, I leap up, and a third girl comes into my vision. And as we touch down on the other side of the final hurdle, we're charging towards the finish line. I get there, I lean. I look up at the scoreboard. Top 3 make the Olympic Games, and I get 4th. 4th. Do you want to guess how much I got 4th by? Half a second. The amount of time that it took you to clap your hands twice as fast as you can is the amount of time that I watched my dream evaporate in front of my eyes. I remember leaving the track that day, just a zombie. And we pulled into the driveway of the Airbnb we were staying at. And I couldn't go into the house. I couldn't go into the house because I couldn't accept that this pursuit was over. There wasn't one more good workout with my physiotherapist, one more good session to strengthen my hamstring. It was just it. It was done. And so instead of going into the house, I just opened the car door and fell onto the driveway and laid in fetal position and just cried and cried because I felt like such a failure. I thought that my friends would lose respect for me. I thought I would never get invited to do another speaking engagement ever again. I thought the entire world was about to flip upside down. I remember thinking like, well, for 4 years, I had been known as Sarah Wells, the Olympian. And now, Sarah Wells, the Olympian, doesn't make the Olympics? It didn't add up to me. It didn't make sense. And so after that moment laying in the driveway, I quit sport. And it's probably not what you expected your motivational speaker to say. Hey guys, when it gets hard, quit, give up, walk away. Yeah. But what I really need to do was I needed to put space between me and that moment. Because I had been telling people for 4 years, if you believe in yourself, you achieve your goals. And now I had just believed in myself and I did not achieve my goal. And so was it this sick joke that people tell you just to make you feel better? And when I really thought about it, I realized that I actually believed in myself more strongly after not making the Olympics, even more so than when I did. Because I still stood on that start line that day and I went for it anyways. I didn't let my circumstances define my outcome. And after being so fortunate to stand on stages like this and share my story, far more people send me messages afterwards and say they were more inspired by the time where I didn't make the Olympics over the time where I did. And I think that's because we can all remember a time where we felt like a failure. We can all remember a time where we thought our friends were going to lose respect for us. We thought that the world was about to flip upside down. And it's in those moments that you may put a limiting belief on yourself. Because in today's world, the pace of innovation has never been so high. And confidence is decreasing because job layoffs are soaring. And there's AI and ChatGPT that are threatening and challenging the ways that we think about our careers in the future. And my hope is that after listening to this today, that you don't let those things spark a limiting belief in yourselves, that you instead think of today's conversation and you remember that hard work won't always lead to success. That sucks because you put in the effort, you put in the time, you put in all that, and then the environment changes. And that's annoying. But though hard work won't always lead to success, being resilient will always lead to another opportunity for success. Now, this line, hard work won't always lead to success, but being resilient will always lead to another opportunity for it. This is the line I want you to hold on to because there's an incredible note or piece of advice I got from a friend of mine named Laura. And Laura said that failure or success is not an end point. It is a through point. And today, I hope every single one of you take that away, that in this race of life, in this race of success, there is no finish line.